Hi, welcome to day 67 update of Making a Better Me. It was a Thursday here and a pleasantly surprising day. I woke this morning and when I looked at the clock I thought, oh my god, I'm late. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it was a snow day then. And I looked out the window and I thought, there's no way it was a snow day, there's no snow. But I spoke to my wife and she said, yeah, schools were canceled today due to an impending storm. So there was a forecast for quite nasty weather, and I think there was quite nasty weather in other regions. Here in Truro, it really didn't end up being that bad. Not that I'm complaining. I will gladly take a snow day any day I can have one. That being said, though, I do want to talk a little bit about snow days here. My wife is a teacher, and I certainly work in the education system, not as a teacher, but as a computer technician. And I will say that, you hear people complaining about snow days, and you hear people complaining about when they don't call a snow day and when they do call a snow day. And I certainly know that you can't please everyone. Certainly not something that I would even attempt to do. But I think that people that go on and oh, teachers, they get the summer off and they get the week off for Christmas or 2 weeks off for Christmas and they get March break and blah 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 and they get paid for all that. Well, I think they really need to take a minute and look at some things about teachers. Teachers, everybody thinks that being a teacher is such a great easy job and all this sort of stuff. And there's a few things going on right now that maybe if you're paying attention, you might realize that teaching is really not all that it's cracked up to be. Teachers have been, they do have a very good contract and they do get paid very well, but not everything is as bright and sunny as it appears to be. A couple of false beliefs that I'd like to correct is one that teachers get paid year round. Actually, teachers don't. Their salaries are their wages are divided up so that they get equal pay throughout the year, but really they don't get paid for their time off in the summer and things like that. They get a salary for the 10 months that they work, and that wage is just reduced so they can be split evenly so that they get a check over the summer, but they do not get paid for their summers. So that's an important rumor, I think, that needs to be put out in the open. Another thing about teachers that I think a lot of people don't understand, or about teaching and snow days in general. I know when I was a kid, we had less days in the school year than we have now. I think sometime in the early 90s they added about 5 additional days to the school year to account for lost time due to snow days. So that time is already been accounted for. I think really you need to be getting more than probably 10 snow days a year before really it would affect the amount of material that would be completed by students in a year. So it's certainly everybody's like, oh, never in school, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. And you hear people saying that, and nothing bothers me more than to hear that. I know how hard teachers work. I work with them every day, and I know the demands that are being placed on teachers by our Department of Education and by our government, and they're having things taken away and things like that, and it's becoming a very difficult place to be in the workforce. Teachers have more and more expectations put on them constantly, and more responsibilities put on them constantly, and it's a lot of work to be done correctly, and there's more checks in place and making sure people are doing things. There are certainly some teachers that don't work as hard as others, just like there is in any type of occupation. So I think it's important to keep that in mind when we're talking about how hard or how easy a teacher's job is. I see teachers, their expectations are very, very high. Their accountability is very, very high, and they have to, they have to report on multiple students. They have larger classrooms. They have, more things that they have to do in the run of a day than they've ever had to do in the past. When I was a kid, we had workbooks and things, and it was, and readers, and really, very, very basic reporting and things like that. Today, they have much more comprehensive report cards, and they have um, certainly a lot more expectations and a lot more curriculum that has to be covered, and a lot more detail and things like that. They don't have workbooks, so quite often teachers are responsible for making their own materials and things like that, and coming up with their own programs to a degree. They're given guidelines, but really not the resources that they were given in the past. It's changed, and I think maybe a lot of people are thinking school is like it was when they were a kid, and it certainly isn't. There's also a lot of other issues to deal with in the classroom that people my age wouldn't remember because it didn't happen. There are many more behavior issues. There are many more learning abilities in a classroom. When I was in school, most of the kids in a classroom were at a very similar grade level, whereas today, because they don't fail kids the same way, the emphasis on progressing kids so that they're with the groups of their peers makes your ability level in a classroom vary greatly. So you may have, 5 or more grade levels in one classroom all being taught, and you have to have individualized programs for students that are working above or below grade level, and you have to have adaptations for students that struggle with certain structures or in certain areas. Not everybody's getting the same test, not everybody's getting the same work, not everybody is being taught the same way, and it's a lot more difficult than it would have been years ago. Keep that in mind. Teaching is not the easy job that it's been made out to be, and our government recently imposed a contract on teachers that they did not want, and legislated them back to work, which that is certainly not fair. You're taking away a union's collective bargaining and a group of people's collective bargaining and rights to strike and things like that. I'm very concerned with the direction that the Liberal government is taking towards education and unions. Then today they passed this bill that based on the Avis Glaze report, which people may not be aware of, but it is a really bad thing for education what they're proposing and what they're suggesting, and I think overall schools and students are going to suffer because of this, and it's a sad state of affairs, and hopefully next election we can make some changes and get something better. I know that's not easy to do because none of the candidates seem to be very good. Unfortunately, our political options are basically which criminal is the least offensive, I guess, and I find that very difficult to deal with, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's the way the system is. I mean, that's what it is. So anyways, that's a little rant about today. So I did want to mention about school days, because I'm sure there were people saying today that, oh, the school shouldn't have been canceled. Why would they cancel school? Halifax didn't cancel school, and I know they had much worse weather than we did, but there were a lot of places that did cancel and close. There was a lot of power outages and a lot of problems with today. So and there were certainly several accidents. I saw several cars and reports of cars being off the road in the HRM area. So anyways, so what else happened today? One thing that happened today is I was extremely lazy. I did not do a whole lot. I slept in a bit. When I get up, I kind of lazed around the house and just took it easy. Really didn't do things that I should have done. Having the option of a day off, but I just felt like I needed a break. I didn't feel particularly good at a couple of times through the day, and my stomach was kind of making some weird noises and having some weird rumblings, and so I just really took an easy day because I know I have a very busy weekend ahead, and I wanted to be ready for that. Um, so um, Later on today, I did have an appointment at the Lake Health Clinic, and I worked with Shane on functional movement and increasing my ranges of motion and how I'm moving to hopefully alleviate some problems that I've been having. If I can retrain myself to move better and strengthen the areas and stretch the areas that need to be stretched, and just retrain my body to move better, hoping to make some great changes. Other things that I did actually, and at the same time as I was there, by the time I get home, they were gone. But my wife had a fellow come in to do an estimate on our tub and surround being replaced, and so we're going to go ahead with that, and that'll be done in a couple of weeks. So quite excited about those changes. I think that'll be something nice for us, and something positive and good. So looking forward to that being done in the not too distant future. I did speak with Jessica today. She did arrive in Edmonton late last night, and has been enjoying herself so far. She went out for a little walk to the store and to get some food and to a restaurant, and managed to get around okay, and so good for her. She's out adventuring. So yeah, way to go. So after my appointment today, and when I came home and found that Leanne had already seen the fellow about the quote, and we discussed a couple of the options and decided to increase what we were going to do. We decided to, well, we'd sort of decided in advance that we would go for supper tonight. I need to do a 12-hour fast and have blood work tomorrow, and I thought, okay, I'm going to need to eat a lot of food before at supper time, if I've got to go 12 hours without eating. I find I'm the worst in the evenings before bed. I really can't sleep if I'm hungry. I seem to be able to get along better in the morning, being hungry and skipping food, than I do at night and skipping food. So anyways, that being said, we decided to go to Frank and Gino's, a local restaurant, and had a nice supper, and I ate as much as I could so that I would get through until bedtime without needing something to eat, and I think that's going to be okay. It's bedtime now, and I'm not too hungry, and actually still feel halfway full, so I should be able to get to sleep okay, and when I get up in the morning I can go and get my blood work done first thing, and that'll be my 12 hours, so that'll be good. I have mentioned that I'm taking tomorrow as a vacation day, and we'll be heading to the Nova Scotia Outdoor Sport and RV show, or I'm not sure what the official name is, something like that, where we'll be taking part in dock diving demos with our youngest border collie Score, and so we're looking forward to that, and we hope you all come out and check out the outdoor show and see what it's all about. Come check out the dock diving demos and some of the other exciting entertainment that'll be going on. I know Ian Stewart will be there. There's going to be some axe throwing, just lots of different activities going on, so it should be lots of fun and lots of excitement. And I know there's a lot of vendors and booths and things like that there that I'm sure we'll have something for everybody, or lots of people, so come check it out if you've got nothing to do this weekend. That being said, what else did I do today? After supper, we come home and Leanne and I watched another episode of Game of Thrones. Great show, I love it, and I'm watching it for the second time, but it's her first time going through, so I'm excited to be watching it again and getting ready to get geared up for season 7. Still a little ways off, but it'll be good to have everything fresh in my mind. So we did go to the gym for a little workout tonight. I sadly didn't do much. Did a little bit of cardio and a little bit of stretching. And I talked to my friend Tim there a bit. Tim's been making some recommendations on things that I should be changing in my diet, and I don't know. I'm gonna maybe try to make a few changes, or start to make a few changes, and see if I can drop a few pounds and get myself a little lighter and a little leaner, and start making headway towards some of my other goals. I feel a little frustrated with the way some things have been going with my recovery at this point. Just things are taking longer and moving slower, and body parts aren't healing up the way I really hoped that they would be. So I'm hoping that I can continue to make some other changes by increasing my cardio and maybe eating a little bit better. I know my eating has been really quite bad lately, and so I've got to really get myself a little bit more on track with that. So yeah, that's about it for tonight. We really didn't do really any housework, and didn't really do a whole lot at the gym. Like I say, I had a little bit of cardio and maybe a little bit of my conditioning exercises and some stretching, but just took a real easy night. Where I have a busy weekend coming up, I know that that rest will be something I'll be glad I did, I guess, and taking it easy. So yeah, so tomorrow, busy day. I'll be up early down at the hospital to get some blood work done. Shortly after that, we'll be heading to Exhibition Park to partake in the dock diving demo, and probably I'm going to be throwing some axes as well, and doing some dock diving, and just having a great time. So I do recommend people come out. I know there is a chance of some bad weather again, or more bad weather coming this weekend. I'm hoping that it won't be as bad as they're calling for, and we'll be able to get down to the show and be able to get through everything the way we want to, and just be safe and have fun. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I don't know what it is. But anyways, I'm excited about that, and yeah. Of course, the usual thing, if you get a chance to, and you can, you're watching my video, I'd appreciate if you'd hit the like button or the thumbs up. I'd love to have you subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and would certainly love to hear your comments. I had a comment on one of my videos today. I talked yesterday a little bit about scent sensitivities, and and a couple of encounters I had yesterday, and so yeah, I'd like to be able to talk about things like that, and hope people are listening and find what I'm saying interesting, or if they have something to input on it, or something they want to say, or if they want to debate something, hey, go for it. Let's talk about it. So yeah, so leave some comments and subscribe and like my videos if you can, and check it all out. I may possibly, I'm thinking about it anyways, of having maybe a couple of bonus videos this weekend from the fall fair, where I may update on a few things that are going on, and just maybe just little short clips, or a little walk around tour of the outdoor show, so that we can see some of the different things that are happening and some of the crowds. Who knows? We'll see what we can do. Anyways, that's it for tonight. Gonna get to bed and get a good sleep, and be ready for the outdoor show. Just for people who need to know, the outdoor show is tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend, and that's at Exhibition Park in Halifax. So come on out and enjoy the show. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.